Alright, I think it is going. That's the way to start off a live stream. Yo bros, Wii2PLAY Brent Bushwicks of YouTube. Welcome to this, once again, unexpected stream where I am playing SUIKA! Cue the thing. SUIKA! No, I haven't bought the update yet. Tell me when I should buy the update, the DLC. Anyways, I am going to be playing SUIKA for roughly an hour. And if I don't get a SUIKA, well, then I lose. In the meantime, hopefully, I can get some people to show up that have been on my channel for a while or have recently subscribed. So I'm going to also be doing a Q&A. One of those moments I feel a lot better about things happening, kinda. But here's the thing about me and SUIKA. I've already gotten one. No, it hasn't been on camera. I'm gonna have this whole Tetris 99 thing on my head again. But I've gotten a SUIKA when I wasn't recording. It helps when my only opponent is myself. So, this might not take that much time, we'll just have to see. It helps, and I've probably mentioned this during the first SUIKA video, it helps that I watched, let's just say it was Alfred, because it was. I watched Alfred's many SUIKA clone videos, and just him playing regular SUIKA, so that kind of trained me how to play this game before I even got to play this game. Maybe cheating, but at the same time, it's what convinced me to even get this game unironically. Here's a funny story, because I'm just gonna talk until someone else mentions something in the live chat. The funny story is when I first heard about SUIKA, I think this was close to April Fool's Day, and the person that posted a video about it, I almost want to say it's RT Gaming. I don't know for sure, but I'm just going to say RT Gaming. I don't necessarily watch their content. It just shows up in my recommendations list. I've watched a few of his videos. But anyways, he said it was a jump scare? Like, I didn't watch the video, I just read what the thumbnail was. It was like, nope, I'm not gonna watch a scary video about fruits. But then I started noticing on YouTube that SUIKA was blowing up, and then Alfred started uploading videos about SUIKA clones, and soon it kind of occurred to me, wait a minute, I like puzzle games sometimes. This might be something that I actually would be interested in. And the rest is history. I uploaded a SUIKA video when no one was expecting it. And now I am uploading a SUIKA stream when no one is expecting it. So, probably not gonna get much in the live chat. But we'll see. I'm hoping. Like I said, the penultimate, I don't know if that's how you say that, phrase, but the penultimate goal is for me to get a SUIKA. That means being able to combine 2 giant melons into a watermelon, as the circle of evolution shows. But part of that sometimes has to do with luck. It has to do with where you place your fruits, it has to do with the physics when it comes to all those fruits, and it has to do with what they end up giving you as a fruit to drop. I like these types of games. I don't like how loud the music is. Oh shoot. I don't like how loud the music is. Now that you can hear me, I forgot to do something about that. But quick recap, yo bros, Wii2PLAY, SUIKA, watched Alfred play clones of it. RT Gaming, clickbaited me into thinking it was a jump scare game. And now I'm playing SUIKA. Also doing a Q&A, and I'm roughly going to be playing this for an hour. It could be longer, but I just decided to write an hour in the description. Mostly so I didn't have to have a long, description. Or a long title to the video. We are also going to get the song to repeat soon, so that will be fun when that happens. Anyways, outside YouTube world, today I am going to an amusement park. It won't be until 3 o'clock, which is why I said I only have so much time to play this. But I'm gonna pay attention to the time. I'm not gonna miss out on this. But I am going to hopefully get something out of this stream. I'd already talked on Twitter and X about wanting to do a stream where I just chat with my audience, but I don't think I was really planning to play a video game while doing that, because we've had many instances where that's not worked out well. Okay, well, I'm not out yet. I'm not out. This is gonna take me out, isn't it? Yeah. Darn. Okay, that's my first loss. Let's see. So my overall ranking is this number. I'm not gonna repeat it to you guys. But that wasn't too horrible for my first attempt, and we've finally reached the first repeat of the song. That's not what I wanted to do, but it's fine. I will work with the cards that I have. I've also been doing some non-gaming stuff, non-Pokemon stuff, and that's watching some TV shows. A lot of them being like kids animation, because I just like that kind of stuff. Don't judge me. There's some good kids animations out there. One of them is Knuckles. I don't know if I should talk much about Knuckles. Here's the thing. In case I haven't mentioned it, or you don't remember hearing it from me, or you just didn't watch the video, I have liked the character, the franchise, Sonic the Hedgehog, ever since I first played Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3, also for the Sega Genesis. So I've been playing Sonic for a while, although those were the primary games that I had touched for old Sega Genesis units. The other one, I feel like I'm gonna get a little bit distracted with my story here, but I'm just gonna wing it. The other one I can remember right now is Sonic 3D Blast. Now, I'm going to retell this story at some point, but if you're watching this video, I guess I'm just gonna say it now. I was interested in Sonic 3D Blast. Don't ask questions, I just was. But when I went to ask for it, for like Christmas or my birthday, my mother got me Sonic Blast. That's a Sega Game Gear game, and it is one of the worst 2D Sonic games I have ever played. And I do not look forward to playing it again, because I may end up playing it again. Anyway, Sonic 3D Blast. I had my fun with it. Didn't get far on it, but I had my fun with it. Which brings me to the Game Gear games, because yes, me and my brothers all had Game Gears. At least me and Garrick Swiss. I don't know about Coen Bros. He was born a little bit later, but we had Sonic the Hedgehog for the Game Gear, which is different than Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis. By the way, if you want to watch me play Sonic the Hedgehog on Genesis for the very first time, I'm gonna plug you on. It is on Galaxy Wiss's channel, where he had me try out the version that comes with Sonic Generations, where there is an infinite continue cheat. If I had not had that infinite continue cheat, I would not have won. I would not have gotten anywhere close to far in the original Sonic the Hedgehog game. Now, when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog for the Game Gear, I will always prefer that one. It's easier, yes, but I feel like the music is better. I feel like the stage layouts are better. That's just my personal opinion. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for Game Gear. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. I prefer Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis. At some point I'm gonna say something off, but hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon. Sonic Triple Trouble was the only other 2D Sonic game I can think of that I also played, which I clearly got farther in that than I ever would in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I don't want to say how far I ever got in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but maybe if you played it, it would probably be apparent. Other Sonic games. There's a weather update suddenly showing up on my computer. I don't know what that's about. I wish it wouldn't show up. Other Sonic games for the Game Gear. Sonic Drift 2. I will play that over Sonic Drift 1, which I feel like at one point I did get to try Sonic Drift 1. Sonic Drift 2, way better in comparison, but it's definitely one of those more aged racing games. I'm trying to think of the best game example to give for it. It's probably a game I haven't really played. But the turning and sometimes the the stage layout for Sonic Drift 2, not the most entertaining out there. But I played it, and there's definitely a lot more stage and music in that than there is in Sonic Drift 1. But I don't know why I'm keep talking about this. Hey, there is my first watermelon. That happened faster than someone could write a message in live chat, which no one has, but I told myself at one point, and I'm not good at this right now, I told myself at one point, I'm just gonna not think about the live chat. Cause ever since Splatoon 2's first global Splatfest, where I did my first stream, I got very, very toxic. I will never forget that. I don't have to rewatch the video to remember I was livid. I was absolutely a game grump. That's not it. I was more the angry video game nerd. That's a comparison. I will not watch that channel. Don't ask me to. But I was very, very upset. And that has always kind of weighed down on me. So it's whenever I do a live stream, especially one that has to do with shiny hunting. Remember that video? Of course you did. There was over 100 people that watched it. Where I said, and I quote, I don't like shiny hunting. Which you would almost think would be the, an oxymoron, I think. I am a moron. But the point is, you would think that I'm just using that as clickbait. That's not necessarily true. Even though I've done a lot of shiny hunting, probably more than you see on the channel,
It's so tedious. Like, I feel like I have to purposely pick and choose which shiny Pokemon are even worth going after. And even then, I make some bad calls. Some really, really bad judgment calls. Like, there was that stream I made where I said, I'm not gonna stop the stream until I get Feebas. I can promise you that the video game I was playing, Pokemon Sun, I believe, you have a better chance of getting a shiny on Pokemon Sun than you do Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Or even Pokemon XY. I mean, it tends to be that newer games, it gets easier with shiny hunting. I mean, when you have Pokemon Legends Arceus making a sound when a shiny Pokemon shows up that you can see in the overworld, and then you can catch the Pokemon without even having to battle it, yeah, that's pretty easy. That's pretty shamelessly easy. But I still, that's my second lost, I still thought it wouldn't be that hard for me to get a shiny Feebas. All I had to do was first find the Feebas, and then I would have to be active and awake enough and not press that stupid runaway button in order to get Feebas. It didn't happen. That's the main thing I wanted to bring up. I never got that shiny Feebas. I struggled emotionally on stream. So I go back to what I was saying. I don't like shiny hunting unless I'm doing it casually. Sometimes if I'm just going around, specifically Pokemon Scarlet and sometimes Violet, if I'm just going around looking around to see if I can find a shiny Pokemon while also gathering materials, Pokemon materials that I can at least use on a item machine, which, spoiler alert, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's DLC, the Indigo Disc, has this item machine that you can use, that you have a better chance of getting a more rarer Pokeball, like a fastball, heavy ball, or even a sports ball, which does not show up unless you are playing the Gold, Silver, or Heart Gold, Soul Silver games, as well as Crystal. Sports Ball is during the bug contest. That's the only time it shows up. But for the very first time, you can get a Sports Ball in Scarlet and Violet with the right RNG. But you have a better chance of getting one of those special balls in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet than you ever will in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Do yourself a favor. Do not waste apricorns on that freaking machine. I don't even remember which Pokemon it represents, but don't waste your apricorns on that. Absolutely a waste of time. You will easily get more special Pokeballs to Scarlet and Violet's DLC. Guaranteed. I don't even have to make a video about it. I can guarantee that can happen. Maybe I might even make some silly little video where I challenge myself to see how long it takes me to get a special Pokeball. Therefore, how long it takes me to get the rainbow lights to show up, if you know, you know, on that machine. What was I talking about? I mentioned Sonic at one point, but it went straight to Pokemon. That shouldn't surprise me at all. I probably forgot my whole entire point, so I'm going to move on to a different point.
Now that I'm done obsessing over Pokemon, because in case you didn't see the community post, I have caught every single possible available Pokemon that you can get through all the 3DS games and DS games. And technically Game Boy Advance, but all of the portable games that don't have to do with the Nintendo Switch. I have caught every single available Pokemon. Now, when I say every single available Pokemon, we're talking about excluding mythicals that you could only get through Nintendo-specific events that were not tied to the main game, like they weren't hidden away. So, a good example of that, because people have been complaining about this for a while. A good example of that is Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, which, I'm going to be honest, I really don't want to touch any of those games for a while. We'll see how long that lasts. But, regarding that, there was 3 mythical Pokemon hidden away in the game that you can still access through cheat codes. Obviously, those are Shaman, Darkrai, and Arceus. Arceus being the one Pokemon that rarely anyone was even able to get at all. Like, the main event was only in Japan, as far as I know. But then when they moved on to newer games, not including Victini, there were event mythicals that you could only get through a download, which means Nintendo would have this one code that would work with their system, or no, a Pokemon they would distribute through their servers. The servers weren't available in the base game. It was a server that they used in order to distribute special trade Pokemon. Most of those being mythicals, so like Meloetta and Genesect, for example. If I were to use a game what the heck? Alright, we're safe. I don't know what physics made that happen, but that scared me for a moment. If I were to use a Game Shark, not saying I have one, but if I were to use one, to try to get Meloetta and Genesect, I believe it would be impossible. I believe. And even if it weren't possible, excuse me, even if it were possible, I have an Arceus in a video that I got through illegitimate means because sometimes dumb teenagers do dumb things. Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 will not let me move that Arceus from those games to Pokemon Transfer and then ultimately to Pokemon Bank. A service that is still running for the 3DS but will be the very last thing that will make the 3DS obsolete. So once Pokemon Bank goes away, yeah, that's it for the 3DS. Our dreams will all perish. So anyways, those mythical Pokemon, to name a few, I'm not gonna be able to get legitimately. We done? The only way that please stop that. The only way I'd be able to get those Pokemon at all is if I get them through the GTS. Guess what got shut down? Duh! The GTS! Now, that's not to say that the entire GTS is gone. And I say that because I've ran into multiple posts where people have been able to play
the mini games that were only available through Nintendo's online servers for Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, as well as Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And you could only play those mini games through the through the Nintendo Online Entertainment System online thing. Who cares anymore? People have found a way to still do that with other people. Nintendo's no longer running the servers, but someone else has found a way to. Now, I don't want to go any further than that because I am not experienced in that type of content, I guess you could say, or that type of information. Like, I don't know much about freaking hacking your 3DS. But I'm just gonna say, if I ever want to get a Mars Shadow, or a, let me think, it's not Heatran, Volcanion. If I ever want to get Volcanion or Mars Shadow, which I legitimately do not have on my special copy of Pokemon Ultra Moon, where I have filled up as much of the decks as possible with as many of the 700, is it 700? It might be 800. 809 different species of Pokemon throughout all of the portable games, not including the Switch. With the Switch, that's 1024, I believe. But as many of the 809 Pokemon, I've memorized this number. This is how in deep I've gotten. How deep I've gotten with this. I've registered as many of those Pokemon as I can, not including the mythicals you can only get one time with a code that Nintendo's never gonna distribute. Plus, it might not even be possible to, I'm not sure how to say this. I guess replicate? I kind of hate saying that, but I don't think there's a way to replicate that code. It's one thing when you have, mythical Pokemon hidden away in your games like freaking Mew. But it's another thing when those mythical Pokemon can only be activated with a code that Nintendo does one time. And it's not even code, it's just Nintendo trading this mythical Pokemon. So, without the GTS, there's no way I'm gonna be able to completely complete the entire Pokédex for a Pokemon Ultra Moon. And that's sad, because I can't just say I got every single Pokemon. I have to be honest, I'm not gonna clickbait in that way. But, at the same time, if I was trying to get every single Pokemon, that was gonna be impossible. Yes, I have a Marshadow, but where do you think that Marshadow went before we even knew when the 3DS was going to lose their servers? That's right, boys and girls, you are super smart. It's in Pokemon Home, which means it is a service only for Nintendo Switch, where you can bring the Pokemon from your 3DS games to your Nintendo Switch, but you can never bring them back to the older games. Heck, you can't even bring your Pokemon from any Sun Moon games to Pokemon Alpha Sapphire or Omega Ruby. You could catch a Pikachu in Alola, and it will not allow you to bring it to Alpha Sapphire or Omega Ruby, or obviously X and Y. Look, I have been obsessing over what games I need to play, where to find certain Pokemon, how long I have to wait for a 1% Snubble to show up in any of the Johto games. And then on top of that, I'm also trying, by the way, I have successfully done this, but at the moment I was trying to complete the entire Pokédex for Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. And once again, Pokemon that have already moved the Pokemon home, which is basically almost all of them, unless they were a partner Pokemon that I was trying to get too many ribbons for. All those Pokemon, all those Mythicals are on Pokemon Home, not Pokemon Bank, and even if they were still on Pokemon Sun, I can't bring them to Alpha Sapphire. I'd have to catch them all over again in older games. And that's why I hate Tornadus, Thundurus, and in extension Landorus. But I did it! I did it, and I promise you at some point I'm going to make some video about it. If I had the time, if I had actual help with editing, I'd make it this big, extended, over hour-long mess that would be spanning every single game I ever played during the Pokédex Quest Challenge. Hashtag Pokédex Quest. But I don't have that time, I don't have that commitment, and I still have Sonic Frontiers I need to finish uploading. As well as Super Mario Brothers Wonder, some WarioWare, Move It content, not a lot, but some. Some Sonic Superstars things, and some other stuff I'm probably forgetting about. In fact, another Sonic thing, the original video of me trying to play the first level of Big the Cat in Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. Somewhere on my computer, that file is just floating around. You wanna know another file that's floating around that's actually not Sonic the Hedgehog? Super Monkey Ball! I played... No. Let me try that again. Coen Bros played Super Monkey Ball Step and Roll. And since I was a stupid young adult at the time, but also kind of part teenager, I was very rude. I was very crass and rude. Think of the older Wii2PLAY Let's Play videos, except probably a lot more blunt in some ways. I still have files of those floating around. I only recently found the rest of the files, surprisingly, for Amazing Island before I even had a way to use a microphone when I was first using, try to remember this one, a DVD VHS recorder, which I will repeat until the end of my days on YouTube is the only way I was able to record music from various video games, aka what my channel used to be about. Those Pokemon Rumble Blast, Wii Party, Super freaking Monkey Ball Adventure videos where it's just the music from the games, that would not have been possible without a VHS DVD recorder that I promise you I was able to purchase legitimately from a Best Buy before the government said, yeah, this is illegal. People are recording Super Bowl games and distributing DVDs about them, so we're taking all of these units off the shelf. I had one of those machines, and I used it to get music from various video games by turning it into an MP3, and then eventually making a few video game related videos, such as, well, Amazing Island, but I'm trying to think of other stuff aside from that. I'd almost like to say Mario Kart 8, like the original Mario Kart 8 videos, which, oof, those have aged poorly. But I'm also thinking about some non-commentary stuff, like, Kirby Dream Collection. There was definitely that, but I'm also trying to think of one of the Boom Blocks games. Is it called Boom Blocks Blast? It's not the original Boom Blocks. It is the sequel to Boom Blocks, which I only have one video of on my entire channel. But I'm sure at some point I'm going to make a Boom Blocks quote-unquote blast video. That is the third loss. We are up to 35 minutes. That's not going well for me. I promise I have a SUIKA. If you want, I can find one of my Loud A recordings. One of my 30-second recordings showing that I've gotten a SUIKA before. And I might just have to do that. Just to quote-unquote say I got a SUIKA. I didn't get it while playing during this stream, but I got one. I'll just showcase it in one of my 30-second videos, which let's talk/vent about that. Nintendo has confirmed that I think it's mid-June, we are no longer going to be able to post pictures or 30-second videos to the platform formerly known as X. Now, why is that? I partially think it's because the platform used to formerly be known as... Did I say X? Oh no, I messed up the dry joke. Shoot. It was known as Twitter, but now it's called X. So, X has done a lot of things that I don't think a lot of us are happy about. But I have to wonder if X is being shut down. Not X isn't being shut down. If the server connecting from Nintendo to X is being shut down, like Nintendo's no longer going to let us post to X, the platform. What about Facebook? Like, I have not gotten an answer about this. I should have made it a poll on Twitter X. That's X, but I put Twitter in because I'm snarky. But I don't know if Facebook is still going to be able to be used with the Nintendo Switch. Which probably brings me to another complaint. Galaxy Wisp. You hear that? He said it! He said the name of his brother in vain again! Galaxy Wisp! If I ever mention Galaxy Wisp, it's usually a negative. This is no different. Galaxy Wisp is convinced, based on the NX, aka the Switch's lifespan it took for it to even show up on store shelves. He believes there is absolutely, unquestionably no chance that the newest console, the Switch predecessor, I think I said that wrong, basically what people are referring to as the Switch 2, he says there's no chance it will ever come out this year or even the beginning of next, but we're gonna mostly focus on this year. Now, I'm not saying that he's wrong. I'm saying he's a butt. I'm saying he thinks he knows everything. That whatever he says is always truth, and that is far from the case. But my argument for why he's wrong in this case, and this isn't exactly the best proof, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. My thoughts are, people have been talking about the Switch 2, and there's been news reports about the Switch 2 for a while now. Remember Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Remember when we got our first teaser trailer and then our first actual trailer about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? During the beginning of one of the years. I don't remember which one. I'm not smart. I'm not looking this up. That year, they posted a trailer. And that year, they said we would get the game. Nintendo was able to hide the fact that they were working on a brand new Super Smash Bros. Game that would have every single character from every previous Super Smash Bros. Game, and no one knew about it. As far as I know, no one had a clue. No one had a grandpa from Nintendo, a cousin, whatever the joke is, who said, yeah, there's going to be a new Smash Brothers game, and it's coming out the end of this year. No one said that. No one said that. I don't know if Pyro the Cheater, that's not his actual name, but I don't know if the Pyro person would have been able to figure that out or not. He's been able to figure out a lot of things. I don't follow him. I don't like my games to be spoiled. I don't like my E3 Nintendo Digital Events / Nintendo Directs to be spoiled. I wasn't happy when I saw that someone already figured out that Epic Mickey was going to get a remastered version for the Nintendo Switch. That was spoiled for me. I couldn't try to feign surprise for that. I couldn't try to feign surprise over Paradox Pokemon being in the crater of Paldea. I couldn't feign surprise over stupid Pecharunt because someone spoiled it, and I'm not going to pretend to be surprised when I'm already feeling sour about it. That's just my opinions. But I'm not following Pyro. That was the whole point I was trying to make. But that doesn't mean posts from Twitter and X don't show up that says more than I ever want to hear, so Pyro gave a hint that we were going to get a Nintendo Championship Edition thing. I can't remember what it's called, but Nintendo Championship thing was gonna happen, and yeah, there's a video game that Nintendo's making, and we didn't know about it until either Pyro said something, Pyro, sorry, I keep saying it wrong, Pyro said something, or Nintendo said something. Both happened, but regardless of which one you believed first, it happened, and Pyro was the first one to say something about it. I'm sure Nintendo is very, very happy he is spoiling Nintendo's plans towards before the Switch 2 comes out. And here's the other thing about the Switch 2, or the Switch processor. What games do we have to look forward to for the Nintendo Switch now? We had Princess Peach Showtime, which is not the greatest Mario game to exist, let's be blunt. But the majority of first-party games for Nintendo are games that already came out on other units. Yes, you can be extremely happy that Nintendo's honoring the Mario RPG legacy before they screwed it up with such things like Paper Mario sticker star. But it's still games that Wii2PLAY played. They're really good remasters for the most part. That was not fair. Fourth Lost. They're good remasters. But I'm not gonna play them. Because one, Galaxy Wisp won't shut up about it, and I just want to avoid everything Galaxy Wisp wants to talk about. And two, I'm not into RPGs. Like, once again, not clickbait. I play Pokemon. I get it. That's an RPG. But I have a passion for raising these creatures. And I have played the games for so long, I've learned better how to figure out these types and move attack powers and power points and whatever else. The thing about RPGs for me is if I am continuously, and this is going to go back to my live stream problem, if I continuously am playing something over and over and over and repeat the same things I said for the umpteenth time over again, and I'm not making any progress, it makes me a little bit angry. I do not like repeating, I spit on my screen, I do not like repeating, doing the same task over and over again, because I'm not good at what I'm doing. That the challenge is so hard that sometimes it's just RNG or spending hours and hours of my time trying to fight the same enemies and not lose to them. I mean, even Pokemon upsets me sometimes, and I'm not talking about their side games like Pokemon Shuffle. I don't like Pokemon Shuffle. I don't know if you guys caught on to that, but Pokemon Shuffle's like one of the worst Pokemon games I've ever played. But aside from that, I'm just not a fan of RPGs. They can be really long, they can be really tough, and after losing to a certain boss in Super Mario RPG way too many times, I just didn't want to play anymore. I just didn't want to play. But here's the other thing. Well, two things. First off, I ain't got much money. I got very little money. I have not talked about this too much on my YouTube channel, but I legitimately lost my wallet. Now, that happened like a month ago, and I have called all the right people to replace cards and such, and I have a new wallet with a chain on it because people can't tell me what to do. You know who you are if you are actually watching this, which I know you couldn't possibly know about. But some people said, yeah, you should have a more mature wallet. F you. I want a wallet that not only looks good, but also I can't forget when I go out to eat and get distracted by someone else's conversation. It's a long story, but I basically, to my knowledge, lost my wallet at a fancy restaurant that my mom took me to. She requested that I bring my wallet with me because she couldn't pay for all the meal. And the funny thing is, the meal was supposed to be for me and Coda, and it was supposed to be for our birthdays. This happened after our birthdays, after March of 2024. So that was absolutely terrific. I spent money on a very rich chocolate cake. And then because of a personal conversation my mom was having and us getting up in arms about trying to get to certain places, I completely forgot that I didn't put my wallet in my pocket. So I left the wallet at the place that I ate at, and it took me a whole entire day to realize it. Because the next day I was like, I don't want to deal with anyone. I'm going to be an introvert for the day and keep my phone off and not talk to anyone or go outside. So, this happened Wednesday that the meal happened and I lost my wallet. So it wasn't until Friday that I would have to go out to do some food shopping and I would realize I lost my wallet. I called the food place and they said, nope, no wallet here. And I did that 3 times. I've tried to contact them. 1, because I needed to. It's like, that's the first place I thought about my wallet being. 2, because my mom said, and I quote, you should tell them which table you were sitting at. And the 3rd time was just absolutely desperate. They already knew my name. They knew my phone number. I went straight into the establishment and said, look, just look for my wallet. Check under the seats. Check the cushions. Do everything you can to find it. And they never found it. So my assumption, that made my skin crawl a little bit, my assumption is someone found the wallet, they took like the $60 I had in my wallet, and then they just threw away my wallet. They didn't try to use any of my cards. I don't have a debit card, by the way, or a credit card. If I do, it's in a different establishment where it will be safe. But I didn't have anything that they could use to steal my information or drain my bank account. There was one thing that I had or used to have in my wallet that worried me, but even though they may have seen that if they were paying attention, it's very possible because of how close I am to the people at the bank that they know me by name, that they would know if this person tried to use that information. They would be like, no, you don't get to take any of that money. You are not Wii2PLAY, the Brenton Bushwicks of YouTube, which is not what they would say. They would say Brenton. You are not the Brenton that we know the face of. So, I had to get a new wallet. I lost some money. I'm not buying Super Mario RPG Legend of the Crystal Stars. That's not what it's called, is it? The 7 Stars. Unless I can just rent it from the library. And even then, spoiler warning for something that I'm probably not going to be proud of. In December, I'm going to release a video that has me complaining about not only the game, but the people who played it, my brothers. Let me just spell it out to you like this. If you were going to play a remake of a game you already knew most of, and the only thing you had to look forward to was the new stuff they added to the game, would you be encouraged to play the game if you already knew what that new stuff was? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Let that set the tone. I wouldn't. Now, I don't know everything about Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, but, I haven't played the first Paper Mario game. I feel like if I'm going to dive into some of these other newer games that are based off an older property, it probably would be good for me to play the older property first. And I have a feeling I have a better chance of beating the original Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64 on the Nintendo Switch online service than I do Paper Mario Thousand Year Door for the Nintendo Switch with all these advancements. Some of it's going to be, make it easier to play. But, here, I'm going off the cuff about a lot of things, but here's another thing that bothers me. And once again, this ties to Galaxy Wisp, that name again. He will be verbal about anything that upsets him. Anything. Anything and everything. Video games, movies, it doesn't matter. If he has an interest in it, or if he hates it, he will make himself verbally clear to every unfortunate person who is within ear distance of him. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be my mom, who doesn't even care about some of these types of video games because she can only play 2D Mario games, or 2D games in general. She doesn't do well with 3D. Well, I'm gonna lose again. Give me a sec. Is there even... I don't... This is gonna end it. Dang. Well, at least I got one of the fruits to show up. Oh my gosh, it's 2 o'clock, which means I have 5 minutes until this stream ends. But you know what? I'm just gonna give myself one more round, which is going to extend 5 minutes, but who cares at this point? So I'm not looking forward to playing the new RPG, well, new in quotation marks, RPG Mario games, because I just don't care about RPG games. You don't hear me talking about Final Fantasy much, do you? The only Final Fantasy I know for the most part, aside from watching YouTubers talk about it, like Pro Jared, is Final Fantasy VII and the remake. And I'm just gonna throw more shade. Everyone, basically everyone knows that one of the biggest spoilers in Final Fantasy VII is that Aerith, the flower girl you get to know and love and put all your power points towards because she can heal your party, dies in the hands of Sephiroth. Now the remake, according to what I keep hearing, mostly from my brothers, has been changing the status quo. Not everything plays out the same. With that said, Galaxy Wisp says that I hope they make it so Aerith does not die in the game. Otherwise, that will be a missed opportunity. He wants Square Enix to not kill off Aerith, which was one of the biggest decisions, one of the main reasons Final Fantasy VII is as talked about as it is. He wants that character to not get stabbed in the back, which out of context sounds bad. But when you say that the game will be better if this twist everyone knows about does not happen, ooh, I'm not gonna be in that supporting line. No way. I'm going to try not to say anything, even though I said everything. Look, whether or not Aerith dies in the next installment of the Final Fantasy Remake series, don't say your game will be better if she doesn't die. That the game story is going to be better off if this significant event everyone knows doesn't happen. That the game will not be good. The game series will not be good if this canon event doesn't happen. Don't do that. Don't do that. Galaxy Wisp is lucky he doesn't have a Twitter/X account. Because I'd like to believe at some point someone's going to see this and they're going to say,
Oh, no, he did not. And he's going to retweet it, and the next people are going to retweet it, and Galaxy Wiz is going to have haters. Galaxy Wiz is just going to have a whole bunch of haters. He's my brother. I get it. I love him. To a degree. But there's certain things he says, and there's certain ways he phrases things where it's like, man, you shouldn't have even tried to say anything. Like, he keeps, well, not keeps, he sometimes says, well, everyone has their own opinion, and then he goes and turns around and says, Go Vacation is the worst game I have ever played on the Nintendo Wii. That's a fact, in his opinion. And it's like, dude, bruh, did you not say that everyone has their own opinions? That we shouldn't bully others for liking the things you do? And then you go and throw shade at one of my cult favorite games. Pot calling the kettle black. And I do that sometimes too. This stream once again kind of went off the rails, and I'm making it sound worse than it already is. Okay, enough about Galaxy Wiz. I was talking about what I'm going to do for my channel that isn't Pokemon, so I'm glad we got back to that topic after an hour. So let me steer back to that. After I finally showcased all the Pokemon that I have caught, not including most mythicals, I'm going to focus on Sonic stuff. I have already completed Sonic Adventure DX, but with Sonic X Shadow Generations on its way, which, maybe one more thing for Galaxy Wiz, but once again, it's just a good plug. Go watch me trying out Sonic Generations. Was it? No. He played Sonic Generations. Go watch him play Sonic Generations on his channel. His opinions might be not always the best, but he does make some good YouTube content sometimes. But I was there with him, so I kind of helped with the commentary. But go watch that if you want. Me playing Sonic Generations, playing Sonic X Shadow Generations will be the first time I really actually tried to do that. But since it includes Shadow the freaking Hedgehog, Mr. Edgelord Sonic, the opposite of Sonic, I feel like I need to showcase the games where Shadow the Hedgehog's story kinda plays a big role. So, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. That is the next thing I'm going to do. I have a different way I'm going to do it, which may or may not work out better in my favor. And then, spoilers, I'm also going to play Sonic Heroes. And sorry, Adrian, but Shadow the Hedgehog, the GameCube game, with way too many alternative paths and endings before you can get to the final ending, before you can even see the final boss. But also spoilers, I made a poll a long time ago, and I'm going to honor that poll. In the oh, I hate that jingle. That's the first time I've heard it. One more time. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna do it one more time. In that poll, I asked, what would you rather see me play? Edgelord game or Sonic and the Secret of the Rings? Which, I'm not necessarily a fan of either of them, but in some cases, I've learned to kind of respect the Shadow the Hedgehog series for what it did. I know, that's an opinion, alright. I'm not gonna say Shadow the Hedgehog is the greatest Sonic game of all time, or even if it's
a good Sonic game, especially since it's just Sonic with guns. E10, everyone! Hope you enjoy playing the Black Hedgehog shooting things, while Super Smash Bros. Melee you can't ever play because it's for a for a teen audience. That was a stupid decision on the rating scale. I will keep complaining about that also till the end of time and until my YouTube career comes to an end, which I don't get paid, so it's not even a career. But let me try to get back to what I was saying before I made really bad jokes. I'm going to play Sonic the Secret of the Rings first. I'm going to live stream that game first because I promised whichever one gets the higher vote, I'm going to play. And that ended up to be Secret of the Rings. I will not start playing Shadow the Hedgehog until I finish Secret of the Rings. And I know I'm not gonna finish Secret of the Rings that quickly at all. Plus, it's probably just gonna be draining. I'm probably gonna need some time to be an introvert and recover from this, even though I'm trying to recover from the Pokemon thing right this very second. But I'm not going to play Shadow the Hedgehog until I finish Secret of the Rings. And by finish Secret of the Rings, I mean beat the final boss and see the end credits. I'm not talking about finishing every single mission. I'm not talking about getting every single collectible. I'm not talking about finding Big the Cat hidden away, which I only saw one time by pure accident, based on Galaxy Wisp, because he was playing the game at the time. Galaxy Wisp stopping because he missed something, and then all of a sudden the screen stops and it zooms in on freaking Big, who we didn't even realize was in the game. None of that. I just want to get to the final boss, beat it, and see the credits. After that, I will play Shadow the Hedgehog, and by play, I mean do every single path and ending until I can get to the final boss and see that credits. And somehow, I want to do this before Sonic X Shadow comes out this summer. I think I need an intervention. Someone needs to stop me. Adrian, Emily. Remember Emily? Remember when Emily was in the chat room? Emily! Please! Stop me from playing so many video games that my head hurts. Part of it is a passion project, but also it is a deadline I shouldn't be giving myself at all. I'm making it harder for myself. No one said I had to play all of the Sonic games, or all the games that have Shadow the Hedgehog in them, and have all these different stories that may or may not have to do with Sonic X Shadow Generations. I mean, do you think they're going to mention the thousands of Shadow the Hedgehog clones you see in, spoiler alert, Sonic Heroes? Making us wonder, is Shadow really Shadow, or is he an android? Is he an AI? Or AI really gonna take over the world? Am I gonna make any of this make sense? Does this make you guys regret watching my YouTube channel? Who knows? I just know I've gone bonkers. I don't know. I'm pretty sure everyone can tell that. I'm not even gonna be sarcastic. Everyone can tell I have lost my marbles. And playing the Sonic games before the newest Sonic game comes out, yeah, that's not helping my case. That's definitely not helping my case. I could be self-aware myself, but when it comes to actually making a change, good luck! Because I'm probably not going to do it. I'm just going to
continue to torture myself. I don't know what else to say. Enjoy your... Let's just finish this. So Sonic stuff! Too much Sonic! I've already done too much Pokemon now, too much Sonic. I blame Sega. But whatever. I'm looking forward to Sonic X Generations, kind of. Here's what I'm looking the most forward to. This is a big deal to me in some ways because... Story time. This goes back to doing things Nintendo don't like, but I'm just going to mention this. The reason that I found PK Sparks, you know, that guy who doesn't know me and is nothing like me, is because he found a mod that lets him play custom stages other people have made for Mario Kart Wii. And when I saw these stages, it's like, oh my gosh, there is some stuff here that would be so awesome to try out. When I'm not overwhelmed, when I'm not trying to make videos about sometimes, I love the idea of playing other people's stages, as long as it's fair. As long as it's not stages that only a task bot would be able to do for the most part. People can come up with some creative and fun things if they're not trying to upset other people. So, because of that, I have thought about mods. I have thought about moderations to other games, and I've seen some other games played with certain mods. Games include, GTA 5, sorry mom, Hat in Time is one of the ones that suddenly showed up. It's like, at some point I asked for Hat in Time, a Hat in Time, for my Nintendo Switch, and I still have it. But then I see people modding Hat in Time, and then I see these extra features, including a mode that for the while only could be accessed through a computer, aka Steam. It was Steam. So there were modes that were only for Steam for a while, which would be like the DLC. And there is an entire mode that can only be played on Steam that has to do with Vanessa. The Hat in Time people made a game based off the mods. At least that's my story. But basically, mods turn gaming experiences that you've already played into something new. And why Nintendo frowns down upon infringing on their work. It's 2:26. One more round. One more round. I know I wrote it differently. Let's see if I can beat my first place ranking. One more round. I'm still talking. I'm still blabbering on and on and on. It's not 3 o'clock yet. I can still pull this off, I think. I will keep an eye on my watch. At the very, very worst, I will just do a speed round where I continue to drop fruits without really paying attention to where they're dropping. But one more round. I have a problem. I have an addiction. This is why I was talking about an intervention, Emily. I know I'm doing something wrong. I'm just not good at stopping myself from not doing something wrong, I guess. Part of this is jokes, but also some of this is a little bit more real than it needs to be. So I'm insane. That was the concept I was going with. And I'm going to try to complete 3 different big, no, technically 4 different big Sonic games. Well, no, it might be 3.
a certain number of Sonic games that have the hedgehog with the gun before the hedgehog with the gun gets a new game. Because going back to what I was saying about stupid mods, Sonic X Shadow Generations is going to be the first game that I do not get for a Nintendo unit. I am getting it for Steam. I'm getting Sonic X Generations for Steam because when I saw the mods for Sonic Generations, oh boy. So this is going to be the first time, unless something else happens in the near future, this will be the first time I try to dabble with mods ever on my channel. And it might not be this channel, just a quick content warning there. I want to try Sonic X Shadow Generation mods, and I want to hope that the Sonic Generation mods that have already been made can somehow be utilized with Sonic X Generations. Sonic X Shadow Generation. Sorry, I knew I said that wrong. So basically, this will be the first Sonic game, or the first game in general, where I will have it on Steam just for the sake of being able to use mods. First game! I was thinking Skyrim would be that game, because yes, I will finally mention Skyrim again. I have seen mods for Skyrim. We're going to name drop another YouTuber who doesn't know me. That would be Doug! And don't talk to me about controversies, I don't want to hear them. Doug is a funny YouTuber. And he has used mods for GTA and Skyrim. So I've gotten to see what happens when you say dragon and see 10, 20 different dragons spawn and crash the game. That's funny to me. Not saying that's the only thing I would do, because obviously there's some other things I would come up with and think of. I don't want to imitate other YouTubers, but if I get inspired by something that they've done, it kind of makes the gears in my head spin. It's like, what could I do for my channel that is inspired by this? Hopefully not replicating it one-to-one, but inspired. And let me tell you, if I could ever find the person to do this, or if I could ever learn to actually code, I would love to make a mod, or to have a video, where people can decide, the chat room can decide several different words that if I say them in the microphone, will screw something up in the game. But the funny thing about that is I won't know any of the words. People will pick words at random, words I may say constantly, and I have to figure out, as I'm playing the game, as I'm screwing up in the game, what words I need to avoid saying. But at the very beginning of the stream, I'm not gonna know what any of those words are. And I'll be saying them, and my game will keep messing up, I'll keep dying. And I won't know exactly what those words are right away. I think that would be the funniest ish that I could post on my channel in a long time. And as far as I know, I don't think anyone has ever tried to do that. By the way, if anyone actually does that for a YouTube channel, can you please just name drop me? Just say I got this idea from Wii2PLAY, mentioning it in one of his streams that was inspired by what he said. Just please and thank you. That's all I ask. I didn't make the mod, I just gave an idea, but if you legitimately got that idea from this video, please mention me. It's not for the publicity, it's just for the fact that if someone really thought this was a good idea, and they got it from me saying something, it would make me feel good. I think that's the worst way I could put it right now. But I think it would really make me feel good if I knew someone was so inspired by some dumb thing I said in one of my streams that they actually used it for their stream. As long as they list me, they're not lying through their teeth saying, oh, well, I had this idea a while ago. It's just a coincidence he mentioned it. I mean, I'm never gonna have any proof whether or not someone saw this stream and they just used my idea. But if you mention me because of this stream, thank you, thank you, thank you. That would just be really neat. Meanwhile, I'm gonna die again. This is my very last life. This is the very last time I'm trying. I promise. No more clickbait. If I do not get out this door very soon, I'm gonna miss out on a trip to an amusement park for free. And I don't think any amount of joking and snarking on people while playing this stupid game that is basically a fad now, I don't think any amount of doing that is gonna make me feel better. So, last time. Let me... Okay, we're not out yet. Oh, gosh. Let's see if I can turn this around. It's not looking good. But if I use the right physics, if I drop these things in the right places, I don't think it's impossible. That could be bad, though. I don't think it's impossible for me. I'm questioning what I'm saying. Okay, still alive. Don't know how long that's gonna last. I'm doubting this a lot more. Well, hold on. That was not where I wanted that to drop. Okay, I'm done. But before that, we're gonna go through my whole list of 1,000 plus 2,500 plus videos and pictures that I'll never be able to post to Twitter by the end of June. And we're going to look for not Shiny Tepig, but we're gonna show Blitz anyways. Yay, Blitz! We're going to see one of the times I was able to get a SUIKA. See, here we go. Here's some SUIKA junk. Let's see this one. Is this the win? I don't think this is the win. I think this is just gonna be something amazing that happens, but we're gonna watch it anyways, because I'm not gonna be able to showcase it any other way soon. So, there's the apple. There we go. That was neat. Okay, this is definitely not a SUIKA. I think I know which one this is. Let me just watch in action. Come on.
There it is! The strawberry is just launched. That's so stupid. Oh, there's my Suika. I just didn't record it. I don't know why. This could be a Suika, though. Remember, forget the Suika, stream ends. So, Wii2PLAY, enjoy your day, take care out there, and I'll catch you later. As soon as I get a Suika. It's not a Suika today, but it was still a Suika. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Please, please. Oh. Okay, Suika time. This has gotta be the one. I don't know what any of these videos are. I'm sure one of them is me getting a Suika. I'm sure of it. Come on. Suika me. Suika me. Suika me. You're so close. Suika.